Is this the most affordable 4K UHD pen display of this size?
This is the new PD1900 from Gaoman, a display that pitches itself as pro performance without having to pay pro price. The Gaoman PD1900 offers an 18.4-inch 4K UHD display and is priced at $749 USD. For context, most displays around this size and resolution seem to be priced above that $1,000 USD range. So at $749 USD, Gaoman is clearly attempting to position this display as a money-saving alternative that doesn't compromise on quality. But is that really the case? In this video, I'll break down my thoughts on the display and whether or not I think this could be a strategic purchase to acquire premium specs at a lower cost. Obviously, I do understand that this is not cheap, but rather relatively more affordable than those other displays. Full disclosure, while Gaoman did send me this display, my thoughts and impressions are 100% genuine and my own. With that being said, let's get into the details. What's included? Included with the Gaoman PD1900 is a G Pro pen stylus, its stylus stand containing 8 built-in replaceable nibs, 10 extra standard nibs, an HDMI cable, a USB-A to USB-C cable, a power adapter, a quick start guide, a drawing glove, and a cleaning cloth. The stand. Because the stand is attached to the display, its overall dimensions are extended well past what I'd consider a portable or travel-friendly size. But I'm not bothered by this, considering that at this size, I don't think anyone would want to bring this anywhere.
The stand feels really solid. I really like that I'm able to just reach over the display and grab that latch. It's really accessible and easy to use, which actually encourages me to adjust the display's height a lot more often than I think I usually would.
By now, I've gotten pretty used to stands that are separate from the display, but it is kind of nice to easily adjust the height of the display via a mechanical lever, as opposed to fiddling with a separate stand that relies on gravity. Setup and connectivity. I did have quite a bit of trouble connecting, though after reaching up for assistance, I realized that it was user error. To help anyone who may run into the same issue that I did, if you're using a Mac like me, click the screen mirroring option in the top right area of your screen and select extend screen. From my experience, this type of screen management is done from the driver, so this was new to me. What I found slightly annoying about it is that anytime my computer sleeps, I might have to reconnect things. The pen display offers several connection methods. As I mentioned, the display comes with a USB-A to USB-C cable as opposed to a full-featured USB-C to USB-C cable, but in using one that I already owned, it did work. So if you are wanting to connect this way, just know that your computer's ports need to be able to support it. The display. Boasting an 18.4-inch 4K UHD display with a pixel density of 238, the Gaoman PD1900 offers sharp and detailed visuals, covering 99% sRGB, 98% DCI-P3, and 96% Adobe RGB gamuts.
Initially, I thought that the colors were off while using the display, but after realizing that the power button, the only button on the display, had to be pressed and held for a color and brightness menu to pop up, I was able to finally resolve those issues by switching from Adobe RGB to sRGB. So if you're dealing with any color issues, just know that you have to press and hold that button for that menu to pop up, and you can adjust your settings from there.
As someone who never really uses them, I actually kind of like the absence of any shortcut keys. Not only does it refrain from even tempting me to use a row of shortcut keys that will inevitably not be enough for my workflow, it also gives the display a sleek premium look with a fully laminated, low glare etched glass reaching the edges of the display. If you're looking for a designated display to fit into your workspace, a sleek design choice like this could be seen as a pro, but if you're looking for a display that you can comfortably travel with and use in a way that's versatile, this would probably be seen as a con.
I don't know what it is exactly, but I actually really like the look of the display. I think that the matte screen finish reaching the edges of the screen really gives it a slick and premium look to it, especially when coupled with how thin the display actually is.
The built-in clip holds the stylus in a slightly loose way. I initially thought that this would be a con, though in practice I actually find that the seamless experience attaching or removing the stylus is actually a really good fit that rivals other displays that I've used that have a similar system.
Obviously, the larger screen size allows you to move your hand or arm a lot more when you're drawing, giving you a lot more control. But after getting used to the screen texture, or rather the screen texture getting used to me drawing on it, I think that the display also offers this paper-like type of texture that feels close to other premium displays that I've used in the past, which is all fine and great if not for the stylus bringing the drawing experience a little bit down.
The stylus. I find that the stylus is ever so slightly lighter than I'm used to. It's not a massive difference, but the subtle difference in weight makes the stylus feel a little cheaper than other pen displays that I've used. The same can be said for its buttons feeling slightly less snappy or clicky. It's not a massive difference, but enough to make me notice. Reaching 16,384 levels of pressure, a 260 points per second report rate, and 60 degrees of tilt support, the battery-free G Pro Pen stylus provides a lag-free and intuitive feel. Now, with any product looking to be a budget alternative to higher-end and more expensive options, there's likely going to be costs that need to be cut in certain areas. And if I had to guess where costs were cut with this display, it would have to be the stylus and its holder. I say this because upon using the display right out of the box, I was unfortunately met with this consistent, awful squeaking sound that came from the stylus anytime I attempted to draw. This was both really frustrating and disappointing, as I immediately recognized this issue as a deal breaker for me if I were hypothetically looking to purchase the display for myself. However, after I painted just one portrait, the sound almost completely went away. This confirmed to me that the sound had to do with some sort of fresh screen or nib texture that needed to be worn down. In any case, this was a huge relief, as I eventually was able to use the display without my ears hurting. There is still a rare occasion that I'll run into a squeak or two from the display, but it's usually when I rarely venture off into areas of my screen that I don't draw on all that often. Because of this, I figured that drawing on every inch of the screen could be a way of tackling this issue, though that might be assuming the issue is more or equally due to the screen itself than just the nib.
In my testing, I didn't find any line wobble, so there's no concern there. And after becoming used to how it felt to draw on this display, I was pleasantly surprised with the texture of the screen feeling reminiscent of other premium displays I've used in the past.
Another issue that I've noticed after a while of using it is that occasionally random dots or dashes will get made off to the right side of the stylus, even if the stylus is just hovering over the display. This hasn't been a huge issue for me in the time using it, but I can imagine it becoming one if I encountered this happening consistently over a long period of time.
I really wish I had footage of this happening. Hell, I probably do, but it's like buried beneath a lot of footage. But I think that this is one of those things that you rarely encounter, and more dangerously, rarely notice until way after you've finished your painting or sketch.
It's really unfortunate to have one issue get eliminated only for another potentially to pop up. Hopefully this one has a solution, but in the time using the display, I unfortunately haven't found one. Also, it's probably worth mentioning, despite this being a pretty minor note, in my time trying to fix the squeaking sound issue, replacing the nibs was proving to be pretty difficult as they kept falling out of the stylus. Through trial and error, I was able to get the nibs to stay, and because I so rarely need to replace stylus nibs, I don't think this is a huge issue. Lastly, I'd say that the pen holder doesn't feel great, as it's most certainly what I would say is the cheapest feeling item that's packaged with the display. It just feels really lightweight and hollow, and I had some difficulty closing it once it were open. Conclusion.
So does the Gaoman PD1900 live up to the pitch that Gaoman is making with this display? Pro performance without having to pay a pro price?
I would say maybe. If your top priority is screen size, resolution, and color, then yeah, this really does serve you in those areas and succeeds in being a premium display.
But if you're looking to replicate the premium drawing experience you might have with other more expensive displays, the display might fall short.
I think this stylus unfortunately makes things feel a little bit off. Again, it's certainly not unusable like I feared it would be at first, but I think that there is a very subtle difference in how it feels to draw on this display compared to others that feature styluses that feel more solid to hold and draw with. But is that difference worth the extra money? Probably not. Aside from that dots and dashes issue that I mentioned, I'd say that this is certainly usable for professional work, and I could totally understand the purchase if you wanted to save some money while still acquiring some premium features and specs. Though personally, I think I would just save up a little more if it meant making every item or area of the pen display as premium as I would want them to be.
So that's my thoughts. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video or found it informative, I really appreciate if you left a like. If you're interested in picking up this display, there's affiliate links in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.